When I was younger, I wanted the strength for Spider-Man, to fight the evil and to do what's right. But right now, I need the strength for Peter Parker, to fight within myself and to keep on trying, to never give up on what I want. Spider-Man is the most popular superhero. You see him everywhere you go. In movies, TV, or its multimedia merchandise, you can never really escape the mask. And what I want to illustrate is how each incarnation of the character keeps on trying, keeps on going, even with the issues and dilemmas that come with it. When you have a good Spider-Man story, it always feels like you start with a loss, then moving into the guilty conscience, and then finally into the responsibility of never giving up. Even on such small levels like a TV show or a big level like a high budget movie, you should have these three things. These three things make Spider-Man so complex and so deep and such an understanding person. Everyone knows about Peter's loss of Uncle Ben. Everyone knows how it happened and how it was really his fault. So when we get something like the MCU, I can't blame the studio for going past it and showing us the other losses. Even if you don't like the incarnation of the character, you can't deny the creative choices they do to intervene with the ongoing films. Peter loses something from each film, but he still keeps on trying. Ben, his parents, his mentor figures, and even his Aunt May. This sets up No Way Home to put the character in such a perfect place to finally move on to the grieving stage. On the other hand, we get someone like Peter B. Parker. Into the Spider-Verse shows someone who is older, is more accustomed to the life, but is still dealing with loss. His 20-year run as the web crawler is what invokes greater meaning in the character, where earlier in the film we get the perfect Spider-Man, the perfect life for him, and it's not fitting. It doesn't feel right because we are not used to this type of character development. It's not relatable in the same way.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Even with the quote, great power must also come with great responsibility, for me that quote is perfect in its own sense, but as the character evolves, so does that mentality. And so to me, Spider-Man feels like loss that must turn into grief and then flourish into the mentality of never giving up, keeping the responsibility alive.
Want my advice? Go back to being a regular kid.
Even after hearing this, we get the incarnation of Miles and Peter and their relationship, and how Peter is more than a mentor figure than compared to that of Spider-Man PS4 or PS5 and that game universe. This movie franchise gives this Peter B. Parker internal hope to rekindle his relationship with Mary Jane and a chance to move on beyond the mask. He takes the responsibility of messing up in the past and doing what's wrong to then finally do what's right. Even with Peter B. Parker to be scared, and he knows that it's a leap of faith to try again, he still does so because of Miles. Miles is more than just a so-and-so child in his eyes. Now, moving across the multiverse, I want to explain how you can do all three of these things: the loss, the guilty conscience, and the responsibility in just one episode of television. There's different voices, different art styles, but my favorite is Spectacular Spider-Man. I think they get it so right, and why it is so important for this person to wear the mask. This entire show is truly an arc about being responsible even when it's inconvenient. The episode in the show that I think illustrates my points the best about how Peter is so responsible even when it's inconvenient is in episode 3 on Natural Selection. We get a classic cold open where Spider-Man is trying to stop criminals from stealing a bakery. But even with him being Spider-Man, he's also thinking about his roles as Peter Parker and the responsibilities of Aunt May by trying to get the photo cash prize so they can pay bills and mortgage. After this scene and after Spider-Man stops them, we get a spine-chilling introduction to this version of Dr. Curt Connors. This incarnation of the character has not become the Lizard yet, but he's still trying to find the cure for his arm. As we see, and he takes this formula, it's a bit different. Because of the last episode and what Electro did in the lab, it's electrified and very, very different. After Kurt takes the serum, we go back to Aunt May's house. Peter has just arrived and is late for his curfew. With being late for the curfew, he gets reminded that he can't stay longer than that or else he has to phone. But Peter replies that things are going to change. But then he goes upstairs to look at the photos, and in classic Parker Luck fashion, the photos went wrong and he's simply back to square one. As we cut in between the characters, we see Kurt beginning to mutate, and as he begins to mutate, things might be wrong. He might already be the lizard when the morning rises, but suddenly he grows a brand new arm. With the parallelisms of these characters, Kurt's new arm brings him hope and responsibility to help the world and help others around him. Then in the next scene, we get a use of Peter's responsibilities holding him back. Even if he tries his hardest, he still has to seem human, even muttering words about how the secret identity issue sucks. With the introduction of Gwen for this episode, we see that she helps move the plot towards the main conflict. Even with Kurt's new arm and showing how great it is that he's got one, there are side effects. The lizard DNA is growing to take all over him, to make him become the lizard. When they brainstorm and they come up with ideas to stop Kurt's DNA from becoming full-on lizard, they also come up with a way for Spider-Man to lose his powers. The gene cleanser provides Peter the inner conflict for the rest of the season, as from the end of the episode he steals one and has one just in case, but then this provokes him to actively put on the mask even when he knows he can be a normal person again. Then we get this dope transformation from Kurt Connors to the lizard. We see this freakish nature in kind of like a classic monster way. As Gwen and the others try to come up with a cleanser and track him down, Peter has to make a classic getaway as he blames it on the curfew and lies to their faces. Even though he feels guilty about this, he knows he's doing the right thing by being Spider-Man. As Peter suits up, he tracks the lizard down to the subway, where we get this absolute golden one-liner.
Where'd you get to now? Hey! Wall crawling's my shtick! Hey, you start spinning a web and I'll sue!
As Spidey has lost the lizard, he goes to the lab for the gene cleanser. But as he goes for the gene cleanser, he understands and finds where the lizard is thanks to Eddie. As Spidey arrives to the zoo to help him, we get a dingy and grimy battle where they fight in the Sahara enclosure. As they fight one another and they evolve, Spider-Man goes to the ice enclosure to trap the lizard into one spot, to then finally clean the lizard's DNA. We see that Spider-Man has saved the day in the Daily Bugle, but we also see that Peter Parker has taken the photos. It's gone public. This really annoys the team and fires him as they can't trust him anymore. He's lied to them one too many times for when he's trying to be Spider-Man, when he's trying to save the day. This leaves Peter alone because all of his issues of putting on the mask has come full circle. It is the reason why he has problems. The ending of the episode and its overarching narrative really puts into perspective on how Spider-Man will always have loss and grief, but will then invoke responsibilities and triumphs that come with it.
I never asked to be Spider-Man. I never asked for these powers. I never knew it would mean a bashed up hand, a hard 9 p.m. curfew, no job, and friends who all think I'm scum. It was all just a twist of fate. Bad luck, a random bug bite. Easiest decision I ever made. Except I saved him. Spider-Man's no magic wand, but thanks to the webhead, Kurt's cured, and Billy gets his father back. So what if nobody threw a parade? Spidey stays because Spidey's needed. For now, anyway.
Take off your mask. I want to see my nephew.
Another singular story that does it so well is Spider-Man PS4. This older Peter Parker is just like Peter B. Parker. He's been in the red and blue for some time now. The ending and overarching narrative of Doc Ock and the Dragon's Breath encapsulates you as the player to feel the responsibility of saving the day. The ending battle in the aftermath really goes beyond punching the crap out of Doc Ock. You can feel the emotional weight that comes with each hit as they both know each other. And as Doc Ock has grown attachment to his arms, so do you as the player. You feel more inclined to feel these reasons of betrayal and hurt as you knew this was going to happen. So when it finally hits you, it hurts that much more. You had the responsibility of trying your best to keep these people afloat. Even though it's designed in this way, you still feel like you had the responsibility. As we reach the ending of the game, Doc Ock has the cure for not just the people with the illness, but also for Aunt May, one of the only parental figures Peter has left in his life. By getting the cure off Doc Ock for Dragon's Breath, he has to make a choice. Either he saves Aunt May now, or he saves everyone. He has to put the loss and grief of losing another loved one in the background. The responsibility of being Spider-Man and saving everyone is too high of a risk for his mental state. He understands what is best, but he wants to do what's personal. He goes to his Aunt May as Spider-Man, but leaves the bedside as Peter Parker, someone who has taken care of each other for so long, and cries over someone he's just lost. Now, the reason why I show you all these incarnations of the character and why these important moments are truly what define him is because this is what loss is to the character of Spider-Man, and how he continues even after these losses, even with the guilt eating him up inside. He will always feel responsible for those around him because he has the greatness to do so.